everyone, this is Bridget in the editing room, and this is also part 2 of the Snow White episodes. If you missed the previous one, I basically explained that our sound quality wasn't great, but we ended up liking the content and decided to present it as is. Here's our episode on the infamous 2025 Snow White. We're back from our non-commercial break. Again, you can sponsor us if you like. Was that too obvious? Okay.
It was just obvious enough, I think, Bridget.
Now we know that there's a new Snow White movie that came out this year. Snow White 2025. Directed by Mark Webb, written by Aaron Cressida Wilson. I didn't write down who the DP was. Starring Rachel Zegler, Amelia Foucher as her younger self, Gal Gadot. We decided that's how she was pronounced the other day. It's going to be very hard to say that. And Andrew Burnap as the forgettable prince.
Even you were like, we need to acknowledge the directors of photography.
Yeah, and then I totally forgot.
You even wrote a line. You put a line in your notes. I see the line.
Thank you.
Although I wonder with like animated stuff how that works.
Well,
I know this is a lot of live action stuff.
There's a lot of animators involved. You can't list them all. Sorry, you all deserve credit. Oh my gosh, the DP was Mandy Walker.
What does that mean?
She is a well-known Australian DP. She's done Hidden Figures. She did Elvis.
So she did Mulan. Nice.
She did Mulan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So she's the bee's knees.
You know, I love a Mandy. I feel like I haven't met a Mandy I didn't like.
I love a female DP.
I mean, it's so rare.
That's fun.
So yeah, we're already, this is an unusual one. So I'm going to talk about the IMDb ratings real quick.
Oh, that's me.
She saw my notes.
I just saw it.
She saw my notes. The IMDb rating for this movie is 2 out of 10. But now on IMDb, there is actually a note on the page right now. You can see it. Hopefully it's still there when you guys check it out. On IMDb, it says, unusual activity. A rating mechanism has detected unusual voting activity for this title.
I will note, if you go to Google reviews, which is what I did last night while I was lying in bed, you'll see a lot of 1-star reviews that have text along with them that are very positive. And it looks like what people are doing is going to ChatGPT or some AI source and having them write out a positive review and then posting a 1-star review with their ChatGPT bullshit review that they...
Yeah, this is one movie where I think there's been some shenanigans afoot. And this is not the first time this has happened, where a movie's gotten review bombed. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times it's by people who've never even seen the movie. Rotten Tomatoes, it's a 39% on the tomato meter. I feel like that's more believable. And a 70% on the popcorn meter, which is actually the audience score.
That seems more believable to me.
Yeah, I'm surprised about a lot of things with this movie. Erica, do you want to do...
Like I said, it's not hot frosty.
Nothing is
this
hot
new
frosty.
Snow White movie is no hot frosty.
You want a real
thank God
bad
for that
movie. That I feel like that should be your bar. You guys should.
Please.
What about the Christmas Wedding Planner?
That was my worst movie.
Somewhat reasonable.
I think
Hot Frosty was
wow,
horrifying.
I think I liked Hot Frosty more because I laughed at it more. The Christmas Wedding Planner. Why are we talking about Christmas movies? The Christmas Wedding Planner was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I mean, they green screened half of the last scene, not the whole of it, just half of it, so you could tell from one angle there's an obvious green screen behind the person.
Obvious. Okay,
Erica, do the budget.
Looks like the budget for this new Snow White was $250 million. The box office opening weekend brought in $42 million. Ouch. And the gross worldwide, I guess so far, is $205 million. Do you know what the timeline is on the gross worldwide? Is that all together total ever?
That's all together total ever, as far as I can tell. But
and that's just in theaters?
Yeah, I believe so. And theaters, okay. I think they include DVD sales if there are any. Like, it's so weird this day and age. The formula has completely changed.
Yeah, because it used to be you'd have to wait at least a year for the DVDs or VHS or whatever to come out.
Right.
And nobody goes to the movies anymore.
And it's so hard to get people to the movies. For one thing, it's expensive, right? So, like, if you're a family...
$20 each.
Yeah, well, especially in Atlanta, like the ticket prices are exorbitant. You could pay $25 for a regular showing, not 3D, not special effect, anything.
That's
Just a
not
regular,
affordable.
It's not. And
Yeah, for a family of 4, that's $100.
Yeah, for a movie, for
significant.
for maybe 2 hours of entertainment. So like, something should be done about that. Although I will put out there, guys, check out your local movie theaters. Check out a nice Tuesday. You can get like an $8 ticket at a lot of independent theaters. That's worth going to, so you can still get the theater experience. But a lot of people haven't gone to the movies, especially since 2020, and we're still feeling the repercussions of that.
Yeah.
So our model has changed, and the fact that studios are still lambasting things for not having good opening weekends, they're really shooting themselves in the foot, because sometimes these movies are not being advertised. Like Elio, the Pixar movie that recently flopped, they barely advertised that movie.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't either.
That'll be a bonus episode someday, perhaps. I haven't even seen it myself, but it was a kids' movie. Apparently, the story was pretty decent from people who actually did see it, but it was not advertised. I saw one commercial a week before it came out, and then immediately people were saying it flopped. And yeah, so and then now Pixar is like, we're not going to make any more like original movies because you're not paying for them anymore. I'm like, no, that's not the lesson to take. You should advertise them so people know they exist.
Yeah, but I mean, nowadays, like, okay, for me personally as a consumer, I would watch TV, right? So it would be a commercial that I would see that would make me know that a movie existed. But I pay for ad-free subscriptions on all of my TV, so I don't see any commercials.
Right. So how do you reach those consumers? Now, I have the ad version of a lot of these subscriptions, and like Disney, I get ads. They're always the same ads. On YouTube, I get ads. Sometimes I see stuff that way, but like since I can skip them, I'm often not seeing it. So how do you reach people? And sometimes they do that through social media, and sometimes it's just not reaching people.
I mean, I'm seeing ads for the Superman film on the Roku home screen right now.
I'm seeing that everywhere. You're right. They put a lot of money into the marketing, and it paid off because it did well.
I have been seeing a lot of ads for Superman. It's exactly what you're saying.
You gotta at least try.
Yeah.
I mean, I know my friend, like, what she does for a living is ads on social media.
Oh.
I don't have kids yet, so I wouldn't be a targeted consumer for, say,
Right.
Elio.
So,
or
like,
maybe even Snow White.
If you weren't already going out to the movies that week and looking up showtimes, you wouldn't have known this movie even existed. So,
I mean, the only thing you can say is that I'm going to say her name the way I used to say it, Gal Gadot.
That feels better, actually.
Gal Gadot would be someone that I should be in the targeted marketing for.
Yeah,
so
me
I'm
too.
surprised that they wouldn't split that.
Yeah, I'm very surprised about a lot of things here. I will say that Snow White, it didn't do well on the opening weekend. We see that in the numbers. However, when it came out on Disney Plus, it was topping the charts on streaming because people were curious about this movie. People were saying was the worst movie ever made, and families who couldn't go to the movie theater could just see it on Disney Plus like a month later, not even weeks later. So why would you just go to the movies? Like, I feel like our release system, the way that, movies in the theater and then it's already on streaming in like a month's time, I think that's also shooting them in the foot because you don't have to see it right now. You can just wait a few weeks.
I still don't know exactly what the monetary structure is there, but yeah, that's how I'm watching all my movies. But I literally didn't know this movie existed until you asked me to be on this podcast, so...
That's incredible.
That's how I found out.
I can't believe you missed all of the discourse because that's why we're doing this movie. Just because people apparently hated it and it got bad reviews and it got review bombed. And I was so curious at what made the movie so bad and very surprised at what I saw. Erica, can you read the IMDb description?
The IMDb description reads as follows. A princess joins forces with 7 dwarfs and a group of rebels to liberate her queendom from her cruel stepmother, the evil queen.
Yeah, so obviously you see that
That's pretty accurate.
They've taken some liberties with the story, which I'm not 100% mad at. I do think we're going to discuss story-wise later. I do think they could have done a little better with that, but there's moments where I'm just like, I see why they changed that. I see why they moved that around.
They made a lot of good updates.
Yeah.
I liked a lot of their updates. I feel like they could have gone further with it.
Yeah.
It almost feels like a little in between, like stuck sort of between to me.
It's still the basic same plot, except. So yeah, Akira, regale us.
I was actually, I'm gonna say it, as a 36-year-old woman, I was like, Gal Gadot as the evil stepmom? Like, how is that even possible? However, she did a phenomenal job.
She actually did.
And this Rachel Ziegler, I do not know, and I was ready to criticize the hell out of her as some naive young 20-year-old getting such a prolific role. She did a great job. I was not mad about it at all. Her voice is amazing.
Her singing voice is amazing. Yeah.
She's also equally good eye candy.
Yeah, I think she's pretty.
Important, but...
I think she's pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave her a period-specific haircut, which I think wasn't doing numbers for her face. I think that's just, it doesn't look right on her. But, like, other than that, I thought she embodied the role, especially what the source material she was given, pretty well. And her singing was great. Like, I had no problem with her singing. So, like, all these people talking in my ear of how it was horrible, she's horrible, the singing's bad, this is bad, Gal Gadot was terrible.
No.
I think they just didn't watch the movie.
The women are great. The men, on the other hand.
Complete opposite of the other one.
Oh, here it comes.
I mean, I'm just saying, we get all of this eye candy for the women. Where was my eye candy? Okay? Those men were, I'm very sorry, they're humans too, and their singing voices were fine. I'm no singing expert here. But not what I wanted. Not up to the same level as the women. And maybe they did that on purpose. They didn't want anything to overshine the women or outshine the women. I don't know. But I was definitely a little bit... Hopefully these men don't take this too wrong. I mean, they're very run-of-the-mill fine.
I hope, yeah. Well, it's no hot frosty, but...
I mean, these women and the two lead women characters are supposed to be the two most beautiful women in the entire world, right? Like, if the fairest of them all, the person who's defeating you, you've been that person as the stepmother, you've been the person who is the fairest of them all. I'm presuming that means the whole world, right?
Yeah, like, what's the logistics of this?
And then you ask this fucking mirror, and one day they're like, actually, it ain't you, bitch. And like, but actually who it is your stepdaughter, who was living in the same house with you until now.
Yeah, what are the odds? That's my question.
Oh, no, wait, she isn't dead yet at this point. Yeah,
that was my only qualm. Well,
they're supposed to be beautiful, is what I was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my next qualm. Okay, with casting.
Mm-hmm.
The dwarfs.
Oh yeah, this is a big controversy on this movie.
Wow, considering what a huge part of the first film they have, they are an ancillary character in this new film, and they be fake as fuck.
Oh, they're fake.
Like, they're AI. Like, they're not real humans. So now we've taken it, and they try to reason this away. They try to tell us they're 250 years old. They're Rumpelstiltskin, and that's why they're allowed to be AI. But we took all the humanity out of those characters and put them on the same par as the animals.
Yeah, Kira means CGI. This isn't... I doubt they did AI.
Me.
I just want to be clear because we talk about AI too. But yeah, you're right. They're CGI. And the animals are very CGI also. But I did note that the deer look like... And probably other critters too. But the deer especially look like the animated deer and super cute with the big eyes.
Yeah.
Which, cool. That's fine. No animals were harmed in the making of this production, I presume. But...
Animal CGI was great.
There's a problem with casting 7 prominent roles and not using the actual people in place. So yeah, there's a lot of controversy about that. In 2022, when the concept of this movie was out there, it was actually criticized by actor Peter Dinklage, who has a form of dwarfism. We know him from Game of Thrones and many other movies. He questioned the need for dwarfs in a modern day retelling of the story, calling it backwards. Other actors with dwarfism said that not casting dwarfs would be a missed opportunity for casting 7 little people who could get jobs. So that's concerned. And ultimately they were created with CGI instead of being played by physical actors. They're only played by voice actors. I feel like this has come up many times. Disney said that they consulted with members of the dwarfism community to avoid reinforcing stereotypes. So like, it sounds like no matter what they did, they were going to be in the wrong anyway. I don't know. This would be I don't know if I could make this decision, to be honest. I'd rather have real people, but
I like the idea of them using live actors.
yeah.
I will say I read one Google review that, if I am allowed to quote,
I think so.
someone named Nathan.
Thanks, Nathan.
He says, I feel like the use of CGI for the dwarfs is necessary for this film. If you imagine real actors as the dwarfs, the movie would not be similar to the original version. I think the CGI complaints come from people who watched Snow White and the Huntsman, which the dwarfs were real actors. CGI dwarfs in this new version helps honor the original looks for the dwarfs. This live action is meant to be magical and inspiring to others, and I believe they accomplished that here. End quote. Thanks, Nathan.
Well, thank
for your
you for your
thought.
comments.
I thought that was, a fair point.
I completely disagree.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it either, because I think I'd rather just give people jobs. And like, I can see the fact that they made their noses really big and they did this with their features and stretched out. They were definitely like cartoonish proportions that looked very similar to the original cartoon.
Yeah.
But in this
if that's
sense,
what they were going for, that makes sense.
But in this sense, it doesn't fit into this world with actual human actors.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay with the animals being extra cutesy.
I'm not sitting here freaking out that Rachel Ziegler doesn't look like Snow White. I mean,
yeah.
she's tan as fuck.
Could you imagine? Yeah.
She's the tannest Snow White I've
She
ever
is. She's Latina.
Yeah.
But the fact, if they had like molded her head to look like Snow White, this would have been Cats.
I just completely disagree. I haven't seen Snow White and the Huntsman in a long time. But we just watched these two back to back.
Right.
And I definitely felt like the dwarves in the first one were a huge part of the story. Very well developed characters. That was my favorite part of the movie. And in this new movie, they are like ancillary characters.
Yeah.
And they give this whole huge new life to Dopey.
Yes.
Which I think maybe for some people was what they wanted. I don't know, we kind of were endeared by Grumpy, so I was like a little sad to see that he was like sidelined. But I'm not even mad about that part. I'm just mad about the fact that you don't really get to know the dwarves at all in this movie.
Right.
Nor do they seem to have distinct personalities and different, like, anything human about them is removed.
Yeah, this very much banks on the fact that you already know there's a Sleepy, a Doc, et cetera, et cetera. So you already know that. But you're right, they don't spend enough time showing them getting to know each other and getting those little personality. Now, I do like that they added stuff for Dopey, and he's just, he has a little growth, and it's kind of precious. I gotta say, I think they handled it pretty okay with that. But you're missing why she's so attached to them and why they're so attached to her.
Yeah.
So
I have not seen Snow White and the Huntsman or the prequel to it, but I would have been very intrigued to see live actors playing the dwarf characters.
yeah,
in
me
this
too.
film.
Me too.
Yeah.
What's interesting is there is a dwarf actor or a little person actor. I'm not sure what the terminology is correct.
It's a little person.
He's in the group of rebels. He's the crossbow guy, and he's cool. Like I dig it that he
That's true.
That felt like...
But was it just like, hey,
It was
look,
kind of
see?
weird to do that with the dwarves being CGI, though.
Right.
But I do like it. I
Literally.
did think he did a good job as.
Right.
I don't
actor.
disagree. I think it's actually kind of cool nowadays that, particularly for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe there's a historical reason, but when we're doing these older movies, we're including more little people actors. Maybe they were more common back then. I don't know. But, so I don't have a problem with him being a little person. What I have a problem is it felt like Disney being like, yeah, sorry we made the dwarves CGI, but look, here's a little person.
Exactly.
It felt placating. Like that could have been added halfway through production when they're like, oh no, we messed up.
That's what I mean when I say it's a weird choice. Because it kind of lends to that, gives that connotation like you just described.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's problematic.
Moving away from casting.
Should I? Right. It's okay. This is all good stuff to talk about.
We haven't talked shit about the prince yet.
We did too.
We
we
did.
did.
We basically that he's not good enough eye candy.
He's not cute enough.
Oh, not cute. Oh.
And he's not a prince, he's a rebel.
Can we talk
that's true.
really quick about the costumes?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really quick.
They put Gal Gadot in the most beautiful costumes.
Dude.
Like a couple of them, I was just like, oh yes.
They're very
so
jangly.
Slinky, and like the color fading one to the other, and the materials, like she's sumptuous. It's beautiful.
You know what I'm gonna be for Halloween now?
The queen.
Yeah, Gal Gadot.
Absolutely. I'll be your minion.
But Snow White, on the other hand, it literally looks like the costume department went to Target and got a little kid's Snow White costume.
It
literally,
is kind of
looks
unfortunate.
like trash.
Does she have long sleeves in the original?
No. She has short sleeves. It ends at the
So
poofy.
the poof is the end.
Yeah, but for some reason, the modern one, she has long sleeves. I am curious why.
Because when you get the costume from Target, it has long sleeves.
Thank you, Kira.
Duh.
I love you. But yeah, as far as costumes are concerned, we feel like Gal got the best of the best. And since they were trying to directly translate the animated film into this, Rachel's costumes were just kind of
I wonder if it has to do with like having room to be more creative. Like with the evil queen, they didn't have as much direction visually as they did with Snow White's outfit.
Well, with the evil queen,
they were able to get a little more creative and like do a better job. I don't know.
With the evil queen, they kept her silhouette. That was accurate. With the tight thing around her head, I don't know what any of the terminology is, the pointed crown, but they embellished it. Like the pointed crown is made out of stained glass, and it looks really cool.
It does look cool.
Like
I think
dig
it was
the
a
details.
huge missed opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the costume department. I don't know if it's the director.
Yeah.
You're all to blame.
Somebody somewhere should have said something. I like when people ask, like, didn't they know it was going to be a bad movie at the time? And sometimes the answer is yes, but sometimes the answer is, well, we thought this other movie would be bad and it ended up being great. So sometimes you don't know until you see the final product.
That's how Terminator happened.
Literally. We just talked about Terminator on our last one.
Arnold talked shit.
Yes, he did. He was spicy.
But then he fell in love with it.
That was funny. So part of the controversy was the interneting as usual. Now, Rachel Zegler is Latina. She is not white. And there's a whole racist... Yeah, I know. I'm so tired of this nonsense too, because it happens every time they cast a non-white person in a role. They're like, how could she be the fairest of them all? And I'm like, that's not cool. So I think some of the review bombing was from people like that who were immediately upset. The same people who thought it wasn't scientifically accurate to have a black mermaid are probably the same people who are mad at a non-white Snow White.
Because mermaids are scientific.
Exactly. That's my point.
Come on.
But also people started a whole hate campaign on Rachel Zegler because... she talked about the original movie and she said it was dated, and she referred to Prince Charming as a stalker.
Which is not wrong.
And she vowed the new adaptation would take a different approach. It did. But also it's funny because she and Gal Gadot had very differing political opinions on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. They were both on opposite sides of supporting what they believed was the right cause. So Gal is Israeli, and she was supporting that side, and Rachel was pro-Palestinian, apparently, in her political talks. So,
Dude, don't even get me started. My husband and I will fight this to the death.
Oh, really? Okay, I think we're not trying to get into political talks here, but I'm just saying this may be one of many things that cause people to hate on this movie. So yeah, I just wanted to get
Rachel.
that out. And Rachel specifically, she had to get like therapy after the hate comments. Like it's not cool what people do to actors and people.
Yeah.
And like when the live action Lilo and Stitch came out and there was that adorable little girl who plays Lilo, I'm like, somebody protect this child, because people will even hate on children who are in movies. It's not good. Like the child who portrayed in Star Wars Episode 1, the baby Anakin. He was bullied out of acting. He was like 10. It's not cool, and it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah, child acting is not for the
But even not just children, just like anybody. The fact that anyone could be bullied for being in a movie, this is make-believe, people. This is not life or death.
Right.
I mean, we are sitting here with our own opinions. So.
We are. We are.
I already hopefully apologized to the male characters. You're more than adequate, I'm sure. But
All right, let's talk about plot points.
Yeah, let's talk about the plot, because this movie it has a lot of the same points, but it also differs. So, like, first point in its favor is it actually sets up the intro of the movie, where you see Snow White growing up with the king and queen, her actual parents, and how they would give to the community. And it's very sweet. And there's an introductory song and what Kira calls a very cringe dance number.
Yep.
But yeah, so you see that intro, you see how she's brought up. She's brought up to be, you know, strong and fair, and I forget what all the stuff on her locket said.
I'm kind of honestly...
It was redundant stuff.
It
was redundant. I honestly, yeah, agreed. I didn't think it actually added to the movie. I understand where they were going with it, but they basically were using the setup of the beginning to be like, the reason why everybody's still gonna like Snow White is because they loved her parents when she was a child.
Yeah.
So they should of course love her because her parents were so great. Like, since when does that mean that she's gonna be great?
She could be a little
That
spoiled
felt
brat.
like a weak plot point to me, but alright.
I think
she
it could...
made them pies, like I was kind of with Gal Gadot on that.
Sure.
Seriously, pies are not going to solve the world's problems.
It's one thing I think they could have elaborated on and made it better. I kind of like the fact that they added this intro stuff because they didn't go for the other one, for the original. It's just, she was a fairest. Okay, now you're a maid. And I'm like, I thought she was a maid to start. I didn't understand that she was a princess. Like, I missed the title card that explained it. So, like, I feel like this one I understood her intro better.
Reading.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't, what am I here doing work over here? But, yeah, so I mean, I wasn't mad at that. And we see the fact that the evil queen takes over after the mother passes away, husband remarries. She's this strange woman from another land, hence we're gonna elaborate on the accent a little bit more. And she's so beautiful that she seems to do magic. I don't know how that's explained. She like changes. She's something about her beauty was like so amazing and had something to do with her magic. And I'm like, is that why she has to be fairest of them all? I don't understand.
Okay.
The one
I'm trying to remember it.
that I like here is that although we still go with the sort of idea of, you know, fairest of them all, there is the quick explanation that what makes Snow White the fairest of them all is that beauty comes from the inside.
Right.
It's quaint, but
yeah,
it quickly summarizes that it's not just about her outlying beauty.
Yeah, I think that's a fair
good update.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, same plot. Basically, the queen finds out Snow White's the fairest from our mirror on the wall. Which the mirror on the wall, they could have done so much more with this, special effects wise. He looked exactly like the magic mirror in Shrek.
Yeah.
Like same look.
I don't remember what that one looks like, but that's
it
funny.
looks like this.
It also looks like it was similar vibes to
Like a
Wizard of
drum.
Oz.
Yeah, so, well, yeah, definitely Wizard of Oz vibes. I feel like the decor in the castle was very Wizard of Oz as well. Like, if you showed me one piece of this and piece of one of the newer Oz movies, I wouldn't be able to tell them apart.
Also, that main town square, I'm like, was that the exact same town square they used for the Beauty and the Beast?
It looks a lot like it.
Dude, what if it was?
I mean,
That's a
like,
while ago.
honestly, it's my job to save money for these types of things. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm like, yeah, we'll just throw up some Bavarian details. We're still in Europe,
Repaint it.
people.
Yep.
Yep. That's a good point. It did feel very similar to me.
Yeah, definitely Bavaria vibes with the architecture and the very gingerbready houses and stuff, Alpine village style, like.
Yeah, and Germany's right next to
Georgia.
France, where Beauty and the Beast happened.
True. The huntsman can't kill her because, you know, she's pretty and nice and stuff. She's picking apples instead of flowers in this one. Like, they really leaned into the apple thing really heavy in this movie. And I'm like, we get it. There's an evil apple coming. You don't have to... There doesn't have to be a whole apple setup.
What they kind of did with this movie, which I didn't hate by any means, was they took a lot of the ideas from the first movie, but they implemented it in a different timing or at a different place, right? So she doesn't make pies for the dwarves. She makes pies for her kingdom when she's with her parents, when she's young. Like, the apples come from, you know, when she's picking the apples in the tree, and like they do this with like a couple of different things, or like the dancing isn't just with the dwarves, it's with like the rebels, right? So it's like the same idea but kind of like in a different location in the film.
Yeah. And it's very similar, but she runs into the forest, and the forest is suddenly very scary. In the early movie, it's clear that it's her imagination getting the better of her. Like, she gets snagged on a branch and it turns into a claw and it's clawing at her. She sees faces in the woods. But, like, here it's literal. And I didn't understand that. Like, there were actually, like, it showed monsters in the woods. And she's running and running and running until she's there with the animals.
I'm very confused in both movies. The purpose of the quote-unquote evil forest.
We did talk at the time about maybe it's symbolic about her losing the last of her innocence or something, but it's hard to parse that.
She doesn't get any less innocent.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't think it really adds anything to the story. It's not like all of a sudden she ends up somewhere outside of a forest.
Yeah.
Like, the forest is evil, but
only part of it.
The mountains are, you know what I mean?
Only
she's
the part
still in the forest.
Yeah, only the part directly next to the apple orchard is full of evil things, but the rest is quite nice.
So somebody explain to us, what is the purpose of that whole montage in both movies?
Yeah, and she didn't even do the Panicked Princess run, TM.
I think she could have done a great
Panicked Princess run. Yeah. And
I understand they were definitely trying to make her be more empowered in this movie, and I think that was great.
Less helpless.
But the Panic Princess run, there's something just kind of fun about that.
Panic Princess run.
So what happens next? So animals, cutesy animals, definitely very CGI, very animated looking. Cute though, not mad at it. Take her to the dwarf's house again. Similar setup, except she doesn't clean the house for them. There's no emphasis on the house being dirty.
I love this. So they do not turn her into the mother role here. Mm-hmm. There's no cleaning, there's no cooking, there's no her sort of mothering them. She, I guess, kind of has this mothering relationship with Dopey, which again calls back my question. Are we trying to insinuate that this character is somehow...
I think so, but it's not
delayed in development.
Yeah, I think it's not as egregious and offensively portrayed this time. I feel like they tried to dial back on that, but yeah, I think this time she basically goes into the house, looks around, and she's like, "I'm gonna knock out for a while," and she sleeps on the beds.
I'm kind of into it, except for the fact that we completely lose any sort of character development, relationship development with her and the dwarves.
Yeah, we are missing that.
Instead, this film, they really try to focus on her falling in love with the rebel, which again, I appreciated that update. It wasn't just a stalker. It wasn't just...
some random prince.
Random guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like she's actually has, experiences for them to fall in love.
She met him briefly in the castle before she was, about to be murdered. He was stealing
him from being murdered,
she rescued him first, but
execution or whatever.
All he was doing was stealing some food so his people wouldn't go hungry, because a lot of people are going hungry at this time. And, he was basically like, well, if the princess was still around here, she should be doing something about it, because he doesn't recognize she is a princess. She's dressed as a maid, which calls into mind why at the end of the movie, we'll get there, how does anyone recognize who she is? Anyway, I'm not there yet. But
I do want to talk about, since Erica brought up, the first movie was done 5 years into the Great Depression, and Walt Disney has chosen to release it now. I'm by no means saying that we're in the Great Depression, but I think there is definitely an economic decline here in the U.S. that is kind of called about, that, sort of this story of Robin Hood. Or, the rich being super rich and everybody else kind of suffering. Yeah. Seems to be kind of playing out yet again when the U.S. is kind of in a similar situation. The 1% is getting, bigger, and then the middle class is getting smaller.
Yeah, and just a random trivia note on that fact. This is the longest span of time so far with Disney live action remakes. It's a span of 88 years. That's a long time. So 88 years between the original and this remake. And like you said, we're dealing with a lot of similar issues that we're very aware of, that disparity between the rich and the people who are suffering at the bottom. So it's apropos, and I feel like that was very intentional. Okay, so yeah, I think they have a keen eye to modernize it. at the script level because, you know, these are issues that people are dealing with.
And I think there is more emphasis put on the fact that the evil queen is sort of obsessed with diamonds and luxury and things like that.
Yeah, which is interesting. I wondered if she was the sole client of the dwarfs mining.
It does make more sense to me that Snow White would have a more meaningful relationship with somebody who is spending their time working towards empowering the regular people in the queendom.
Mm-hmm.
I like how she just slipped queendom in there.
It just occurred to me last night, and I'm sticking with it.
That's cool.
Because there's no king.
Yeah, it's also an update, right? That, you know, Snow White isn't going after a prince. She's going after, instead, a rebel.
Yeah, and it's someone who has basically their priorities in the right place. So there is a little side story about her trying to work with them, trying to find her father. She's thinking that her father is still out there somewhere. Spoiler, he's not.
Again, that was a weird...
It was a waste.
Yeah.
We should have figured...
Side note story that didn't seem to add anything.
She should have known that the evil queen did something to him much earlier.
She should have known.
Like, how are you surprised that she's evil? She's the epitome of Okay, I'm done. I'm on this topic too much.
She's been a dick to you your whole life.
Again, this is the thing where it's like, she wasn't as naive as the first Snow White, but there is still an emphasis on her being naive that I was not a fan of.
Yeah, and I think that leaves them sort of in that lurch between, like, you're sticking a little too closely to the old one if you're gonna update it in the ways that you're updating it. Like, just go a little farther.
Yes.
Like, just dive right in.
I also think it's interesting because I think there are these maybe I could be wrong, or I could be colored by my own personal experiences, but there's more times in our history where we're willing to accept somebody who's robbing or stealing, something that we would consider a bad thing, a hero, right? And it tends to be in these times when there's a huge disparage of wealth. So it's not always in our lives, like, say, I'm just gonna throw this out here, maybe like the 80s, the credit card era or something where, like, that is not something that we could look at a movie and be like, oh no, they're the good guy. We would be like, they're stealing, they're a bad guy.
Yeah.
Again, he has this band of rebels. They didn't really add much to the story.
Yeah,
No, hardly any of them even spoke.
They just had a Robin Hood vibe about it, which, okay.
And we didn't really see what kind of organizing. It was implied that they were doing this organized crime sort of thing, but in the spirit of, like, liberating the people. But we never really saw any evidence of any of that work outside of the point where he was stealing the potatoes.
Yes. Yeah.
And just potatoes? Anyway. That's it.
It's the best food.
Where else did it I guess the ending, right? Am I skipping over anything too much? The rest is pretty similar because the evil queen makes a crazy potion. Not enough ingredients this time, by the way.
Ooh, but her potion cabinet is so cool.
Her potion cabinet is super cool. It, like, spirals and rises up out of a table, and there's these beautiful molded glass bottles in different colors, and I'm like, that's gonna be my spice rack.
And aside from the opening and the closing song and dance numbers, which were not my favorite, a lot of the song and dance numbers, and I'm a harsh critic here, were really good.
Yeah, I'm not mad at the music. I actually was hearing it repeat in my head a little bit, and I was like, oh, okay, was the music good? Because I wasn't mad at it. Yeah, this, like, the cringy, like, the whole town's gonna dance together and it's fine, whatever. But I kind of dug it. I kind of dug the vibes, and, like, they updated some music. It was a little bit more poppy, a little bit more like what you'd see on Broadway today, I would say. And then two songs survived from the original. It was Whistle While You Work and the Hi Ho song. I think that's it. I think everything else was kind of replaced.
There wasn't as much. The first Snow White wasn't really like a musical, whereas this one was more of a musical.
Yeah, that's true. There were less. I think there were just also less songs to pull from the original.
I just don't think they were all iconic, and that's why we don't remember them.
No, there wasn't really that much singing in the first one.
She sings and the prince sings. Then she sings to the animals, Whistle While You Work, and then the dwarves sing, and then she sings at them, and then There's like a lot of singing back and forth.
When the prince
It's like
arrives,
an operetta.
he's doing a song, but it's like it's not really like a musical number. He's just like
He's just singing.
he's just like singing that same tune that he was earlier.
Yeah, you're
Which
right.
doesn't feel like it was like the center of attention. It felt like it was just like, oh, he happened to be singing a song that he was enjoying his day and like seeing this beautiful maiden.
I would say the
or whatever.
2025 version feels more like a musical. A proper musical, not a movie that has some music in it.
Right.
Agreed.
I guess that works. But yeah, the music was updated. I thought it sounded good. I think all the singers were pretty good. I laughed a couple times at Gal's renditions. There was a couple moments where I was like, oh, that was a little much, but mostly
really?
I thought she did pretty good.
I loved them.
Maybe that was just her
I
thing.
was
you know?
into it.
I mean, that's cool. I like
I
that.
was into her song and dance numbers.
I was just into her outfit. Yeah, so we have the evil queen takes the potion and turns into the old crone, which I was concerned going into this because I'm like, how CGI are they going to make her face? But they didn't over CGI her face, I don't think. I feel like it looked more like practical makeup.
Was she recast for that?
No, I think that was her.
It was like a completely different voice.
Yeah?
I could be wrong, but
I don't know.
definitely thought it was recast for
Google
the
it.
crone.
We should look that up.
We should look that
Because
up.
I thought it was just. I mean, maybe they could have someone do the voice.
Maybe
Or they could have
replaced the
altered
voice.
it digitally.
But maybe it was another
Or maybe
actor that
she
had
just did another voice. I don't know.
I feel like it was her voice. I could be very wrong. The teeth were definitely different. But that could have been
But, I mean,
digitally
that-
changed.
Could have been, or it could have been practical too. I don't know.
I'm just happy that they didn't give her a cartoonish hook nose, because that...
Really didn't.
I've seen...
You're not gonna be. You don't need that to be in disguise. She's like not expecting you to show up as an old woman.
No, but also it would look really weird in a live action because they did that in a movie I've mentioned to you before, and I'll probably have to cover it sometime because it's pretty bad.
Here it comes again.
Oz the Great and Powerful. When Mila Kunis turns into the Wicked Witch, she has a ridiculous chin and a hook nose, and it looks terrible. And I'm so glad they didn't do that here.
I haven't watched that, but I imagine it looks tacky as fuck.
Well, when we want something to hate watch, we'll watch that one.
Sounds good.
She's gonna be like, I'm absent that day.
No, y'all are right.
Or I'll show up with an extra bottle of wine.
Jealous.
Damn.
Why?
So
Gal Gadot does play both.
she does play the old crone and
So
herself.
She does a great job. Wow.
Sorry,
I
I
really thought it was a different actor.
I guess she did a good job of it.
Good job.
Here I am minimizing what an actress can do.
I know, and Kira has been an actress, so she should know the process. You're supposed to have all the answers. That's why I have you here.
So then the other thing that they did with the plot that I liked is, like we said, in the first one, the third act is like minimized. It's just glossed over and we're just done.
Yeah.
In this one, they decide to expand on it, which wraps up the story more nicely for sure and changes a lot of those plot points there. And it definitely does not make it like, oh, she needs a man to save her, which I loved, even though he still comes and kisses her. It's still her that rises up to get her own kingdom back. But it was not my favorite interpretation. It just felt really flat. And again, it was this whole idea of her just being so naive. And she's like, well, I can still change the evil queen's ways just by being nice with a can-do spirit. And by no means am I saying, like, okay, we need to pull out our crossbows, which was talked about, and, like, shoot her up to death. Like, I love that there was a sort of no violence sort of ending in that way.
Yeah.
But it just felt so naive, and it just was like, really?
Yeah, I
It
feel
didn't feel realistic.
I loved how while we were watching it, suddenly Kira starts laughing and says, "She's killing them with kindness."
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I would say, like, because Snow White appears back in the town. She's wearing a red hood, and we're like, it's Red Riding Hood. And she takes the hood off, and all the townspeople immediately recognize her. Hard to believe since she's been disappeared since she was, like, 8. So, like, they shouldn't know what she looks
And
like.
all of a sudden decide that, like, she's gonna be there.
They just walk behind
Like,
her,
why?
like, we're gonna be your posse. We're right behind you. Okay, the better way to do this would have been, and Erica's got something funny coming up. I can feel it. There's a disturbance in the force. But she should have done something that gave her character more agency, that won people over, and that could have been a really good scene. Erica, thoughts?
I agree with your point. And what I was going to say is that while watching the ending of this, that came to me while I was watching Ever After, which is an older film that Drew Barrymore starred in as Cinderella.
Yeah.
And at the end, like, she has all these conversations with the prince through the whole film. This is an Ever After. And when they finally decide they're in love and she gets liberated from her evil stepmother and they get married, and all of this talk about liberating the people and like creating a more egalitarian world, it's like, but then you still like took your throne. And so it's like, if Snow White in this film, I couldn't help but think, I don't know how realistic this is, but like, if what you're interested in is like empowering your people, then becoming the ruler of those people isn't exactly empowering them, even if you are taking that role in a benevolent or with a benevolent intention. There's a critique, I think, somewhere in there that could be made where it's like, well, if you really cared about the people and wanted them to live this like really wonderful, happy life all together, then what you would do is facilitate a whole different style of government.
I don't think democracies were thought of at the time.
What?
But
Greeks invented the democracy.
Oh, shoot, you're right. Delete that. I'm done.
No,
We don't have to dive into this. It was a thought that came to me.
That was good commentary, though. I like that. But yeah, I think the whole purpose of, like, if you're gonna modernize a character, one of the things you need to modernize is the fact that they have agency and not the fact that things just happen around them and to them. She should make the decisions that propel the plot forward or solve the problem at the end. And I feel like her just appearing at the town and being like, look, it's me, I'm back, follow behind me as we confront the evil witch. That's not enough.
It wasn't a fully developed plot point,
Not
strategy,
enough.
storyline, yes.
And the queen really destroys herself, which that could be good too, in a sense, but I feel like Snow White's character didn't do enough.
I feel like that's great commentary. That I do think people destroy themselves. I don't think we need to destroy them. So like I said, they made a lot of really great updates. You know, there was just it just lacked in some ways, and that, you know, again, I think it's really hard when you have these movies where you're trying to make a carbon copy of it, because everybody has pieces from the old one that they just love and resonate with. And so you're trying so hard not to divert too far away from that so that people still have that, versus say like an Ever After where you can totally take a whole new, you know,
new interpretation.
So like, I think they did a really great job in trying to update as much as possible for 2025 and her having, you know, female empowerment and things like that.
Okay.
But the naivete.
Yeah, it's a little too, she's still too naive. She just walks up like, hey,
That's my
I'm
biggest
here.
criticism.
And looking at the guards like, you're gonna kill me? Yeah, that was the whole deal.
No, I knew your dad. Why? Mom, like,
They did that in Tommy
up.
Boy too.
Why would you do this?
No.
Yeah, so they could have worked on that.
Totally. We all know that this is not the only remake of Snow White.
True.
We know there's like a whole theme right now of things like fairy tale stories that are getting into fair use territory for copyrights that are getting turned into B horror films.
Right.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, as one example.
Yes.
And there is one that says it's this year. I didn't get enough time to fully dive in, but it says it's 2025 release called The Death of Snow White, which is being labeled as a B horror film.
Is it on Tubi?
It's only available on Prime, so it may just be an Amazon
Somebody
Prime
just made it.
creation. The IMDb description for this is: pursued by her stepmother for eternal beauty, Snow White flees into a terrifying forest and aligns with 7 bloodthirsty dwarves. cold-blooded assassins with a knack for brutal killings.
Oh my
Her
God.
spirit is tested in this grim fairy tale. And they use grim with one M. I'm assuming pun intended there.
Missed an opportunity. Okay.
But honestly, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of fun that they're doing this.
I would watch that. But
Yeah.
also, I feel like Disney is also remaking things, and DreamWorks and all these other companies, because they can retain the copyright if they make another
maybe
one.
that's what it is. Yeah.
So
that
I
could
don't
be part of
know.
it.
I don't know the legality of all this.
You are absolutely correct.
I think that's part of why things get remade after a certain time. Not that because they felt they needed to do it. One is you have a built-in audience, and the other is we're going to keep this copyright for another 75 years.
So there's more reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Good call.
so.
Good call.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As we mentioned earlier, there's Snow White and the Huntsman from 2012.
Yes.
Then they did a prequel to that film in 2016 called The Huntsman, Winter's War, in which Snow White doesn't even appear. It is a prequel based on the Huntsman and his experience. And the evil queen has a sister who is the Snow Queen, and, she goes through trauma and then starts behaving badly and, whatever.
We saw that in Frozen. Okay.
Now,
fine.
in 2012, they also did Mirror, Mirror
Right, I saw that on the list.
with Julia Roberts. I've never seen any of these, by the way. I can't give
think
you
I've seen any
proper
of them.
descriptions, but in 2005, I was reminded that The Brothers Grimm was made,
Yeah.
which had Heath Ledger and Matt Damon.
It was really good.
It was a Terry Gilliam film,
Whoa.
which
And he's
blew my
known for
mind 'cause,
really weird, wild movies, right?
he does really weird, wild stuff, and I'm surprised that he took that on as a subject matter, even though I'm sure he did it. It sounds like he did it in a really good way, and I think he is a talented director. And then one really interesting one that I found that I would really like to watch at some point is from 1997.
Okay.
So this predates all of those other ones. It's called Snow White, A Tale of Terror. Most of these got about a 6 out of 10 on IMDb for a rating, and a lot of them have a 6.1 out of 10 specifically, so I'm a little confused as to how that many of them have the same rating, but
That's wild. Okay.
but this one has Sigourney Weaver in it, and Sam Neill, who is the doctor in
I love
Jurassic
Samuel.
Park.
Yes.
And I love seeing Sigourney Weaver as a villain. That was really fun. She's the evil queen. And it looks like a proper horror movie. And the Roku description, for this one is, an innocent young woman finds refuge from her wicked stepmother with 7 forest-dwelling outcasts. And I was not able to determine whether or not they were, played by... Well, I mean, in 97, they would have had to have been played by people.
But also
By
since they're called
humans.
outcasts, are they just dudes in that case?
They might not be little people.
They
Yeah,
might
we
be
don't
like
know.
the rebels,
Yeah.
Interesting.
So anyway, there's a whole thing here.
There's
we have
so
lots
many.
of
There's
remakes.
also there was an Amanda Bynes modern one called Sydney White.
That one escaped my radar.
I know nothing of it except that it existed.
Well, yeah, I mean, I like
There's a lot of them. Yeah, there's so many, and a lot of horror versions of it. Which is that like the easiest thing to do with these interpretations is go for a horror route. I'm not necessarily mad at it. So
I think it's interesting that we use the term fairy tale, and it seems to have a connotation of like, oh, this very lighthearted like child's story. But a lot of the fairy tales original stories are pretty dark and disgusting.
yeah,
Including this one. And I think, in that way, it's like, yeah, take that and run with it. Like how Gregory Maguire who wrote Wicked?
yes,
The original book?
Yeah.
It was a great book.
But that's also
like-
a great interpretation of a story where it can exist in its own world, but you're also familiar with the world.
Yes.
Yeah, and no, I totally believe, like, if you do an adaptation, one of the fair ways to do it is find a new angle. So, and just tell a good story. Just tell a good
Yes, properly
story.
put together a plot that makes sense and believable things that happen.
I have 2 ideas for what we could end this episode with.
Okay.
Either we all find a terrible review of this movie and read it for funnies, or a good review if you want, but we all read a review, or we all pitch a different classic story to be remade and how we would do it.
I feel like the second one would take a lot more thought.
Okay. You're right.
Some of these reviews that I was reading are upsetting.
Yeah.
Just to read.
86% people voted 1 star. But where are
I mean, that's
they're-
clearly getting trolled,
yeah,
right? Like, that's not...
just, yeah.
A lot of these also that are clearly spam they start with honest review in all caps.
Oh, interesting.
And then it's a bunch of nonsense that they'll post in here. It's just like, why are people I don't know. Why are people spending their time this way? Like, if you don't like the film, it's fine, but like to take time out of your day and go like do this just seems like a lot of commitment to putting real negativity into the world. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, like here is a bunch of 1 stars, and then there's one that says, ignore the nonsense. This is a really lovely family movie. My daughters loved it. My wife and I chuckled all the way through. The new songs are great. So like, and someone says, I've had a change of heart, 7 out of 10. I initially wrote a scathing review. I thought it was the worst thing. But someone was telling me to give it another try.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I found it. I'm not going to read the whole thing 'cause it's really long.
You don't have to.
I do like the title, Mirror, Mirror, Make It Stop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, some of these titles are really good.
It's kind of funny.
The one that's like, this is the poison apple.
Right. This gives me the anxiety of like...
Rooting for the apple.
Rooting for the apple? Stop it.
That's really all you need to read. Okay.
All right.
I'm kind of into this.
All right, we all got one?
Hold on.
I've got one. I actually got 2 here. I just found another one that's kind of interesting.
All right, let's
okay.
do it.
Okay.
All right. So, I thought it would be kind of fun if we all picked a bad review to read, because some of them are a little egregious, some of them are a little funny, and some of them must be ChatGPT. Who would like to start?
How about Kira?
Okay. Review by IMDb fan 06486958883. Absolutely atrocious. As a grizzled movie critic with a nose for trash, I'm here to declare the new Snow White a cinematic catastrophe. So abysmal, it makes the dwarfs' coal-dusted day job seem like a vacation in paradise. Grumpy's perpetual frown is the only thing more warranted than my outright revulsion. The plot lurches along like Sleepy after a 3-day bender, tripping over itself in a haze of incoherence.
A bender?
While the CGI is so heinously bad, it looks like Dopey was handed the reins to the animation software and told to figure it out.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I'd sooner volunteer to scrub the evil queen's dungeon floors or stare at drying paint in her torture chamber than endure this soulless, cash-grabbing travesty again.
If this person thinks that watching paint dry is torture, then...
Yeah, I don't know what...
Well, they must have a really nice life.
Yeah.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, this remakes the most wretched of them all.
You know he worked for like 15 minutes and giggled when he figured out that little rhyme.
I mean, he's clearly a writer. It was very overwritten, but...
I'm sorry, honey. Where did this movie hurt you? This is too much. This is not... And again, with reviews like this, you'd think this is the worst movie on the planet. I've seen worse. Anyway.
I mean, listen,
Yeah.
I thought his point about, the whole making the coal mining look like it was this amazing job, that definitely was done.
Did he watch the movie, though? Because they're not mining coal. They're mining gems. So, like, that's where I think either this was fabricated or he just made it up.
Stop, baby.
Did he mention a single thing in this movie that you couldn't have just guessed from a trailer? I mean, maybe you did watch it and didn't like it. But
again.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, I'm just saying, it doesn't sound like anything. Maybe the animation being not good and it was done by Dopey, whatever. But, like, people say that about CGI all the time. It doesn't actually mean it's bad. It's just, like, I don't know. People are really hard on CGI.
No.
Do you think they're expecting something that looks completely real when they watch something CGI? And I don't think that's always the intention with
It's not always the intention. What were you going to say?
Nothing about this review tells me that he specifically watched this one, right? Like, he names all the characters, but everybody knows all of the characters, right? Like, he basically just says that he's a good writer.
Yeah, I would say it's actually kind of entertaining. And if I hated this movie, I might have gotten a chuckle out of that review. But I didn't hate it. Okay, mine. 1 star on IMDb. Mirror, mirror, make it stop. The apple was the least poisoned thing on screen.
Oh.
The dwarves acted like grumpy old men, not minors, just muttering and shuffling around. The
How many minors has this person spent time with?
Okay, but true.
I don't know, you might have gained a fan, Sahil55 on IMDb. The prince was boring as hell. No spark, no nothing, like he slept through the whole movie.
True.
Yeah, it's kind of... The story wandered around with no point, like it got lost in the woods. The forest looked fake, and the whole thing felt like a school play gone wrong. You'd think with all that money, they'd make something decent, but no. They churned out this snooze fest instead. Skip it, unless you hate yourself or love watching paint dry. A fairy tale so dead, no kiss could save it.
Another talented writer talking about paint drying.
I was gonna say, isn't that a little sus?
Did they
Weird.
talk about this on Fox News or something?
I mean, that's oftentimes when you hear a little catchphrase, it's been said on TV a bunch of times. Yeah, so that was mine.
Wow.
Sahil might have seen the movie. I feel like some of these points were legit. Again, where did the movie hurt you? I don't think I've ever hated a movie so much, except when I saw The Last Airbender by M. Night Shyamalan, but I have personal reasons for that.
Well, at least you're willing to admit that.
Thank you. It was a bad movie. Anyway. Erica, it's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay, this comes from Google reviews by somebody named Abigail Lim. I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong. It is a 1 star out of 5 stars.
Quick disclaimer, this is Editing Bridget here. Erica is going to read a review that does not reflect the views of anyone on this podcast, but she is going to read it to give you context on why a lot of people were hating on this movie and the lead actress so much. So, trigger warning if you need it for racist content. We don't feel that way. Thank you.
Thanks, Bridget. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it is very long, but there's something very upsetting about it that I felt like I needed to share. Here we go. Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs? More like Mud Brown and Jonathan the Prince Charming, thief, talk about Robin Hood.
Oh. ...
Not a full ellipses, just 2 dots. Snow Whit, sorry, Mud Brown's voice was amazing. The most of the songs sounded like knockoff Elsa. The iconic Someday My Prince Will Come was nowhere to be seen. Instead, it was replaced by Princess Problems.
Oh my goodness.
That noise sounded like a kid's show song, and the vocals got edited to max atrocious. And girl, G-U-R-L, go change that outfit. Did you get that from the dollar store?
I mean, yeah, that one comment in there, that's legit.
Jonathan's voice was like a dying infant clown. Why is he so high-pitched? Bro starred in like so many musicals, at least that's what I heard. You can confirm that, ma'am.
You have the internet on your phone.
And he should have had enough experience, but no, big fail. And guess how he discovered Mud Brown? Nope, not her breathtaking voice. A sack of potatoes. It is literally a sack of potatoes. No, I'm not lying. That memorable scene was replaced with potatoes. And that's where I'm going to leave that.
That is
upsetting.
But I can't believe you can be so egregiously racist in your thing to call her Mud Brown. For one thing,
straight up hateful.
She's. I can't even say it. I can't even say it. Just because she's not white doesn't mean you call her mud. It's so gross. How?
I agree. Abigail, I'm disappointed in you.
But I'm disappointed in you, Abigail. And also, I think you did write this because there's no way ChatGPT would have that many spelling errors.
Yeah.
Multiple. Wow,
Rachel
Abigail.
Ziegler, I'm very sorry.
Yeah, I hope you are out there trying to live your best life and moving on and doing other things because you can sing, you can act. I'm sorry you were cast in this movie and that's what hurled all this hate at you, but no human deserves this kind of hate.
Yeah, you're a beautiful person, and I hope that you are getting what you need right now in moving forward and ignoring all this bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we live in such a hateful, spiteful world in which we care enough about the color of people's skin to somehow be a reason to hate them.
Yeah, it's
just because of the color of their skin.
It's
and
so
act
bad.
hateful toward them.
and act hateful, and it's just not founded, and it doesn't make any sense in this day and age to not understand that people are people, and we can portray characters with different people who don't necessarily exactly match what it looked like before. If it's not important to the story, it's fine. I don't mind a recast. I don't mind, anyway, that's my soapbox on that.
Yeah.
And you know what? You can go back and watch the 1937 movie. It's available on Disney Plus. The prince no longer shimmies in that one scene. It's great.
There's at least one VHS copy of it at your thrift store if you prefer to see it that way.
It's true. So, yeah.
I found several Snow Whites in VHS at the thrift store while looking through VHS tapes.
Oh, wow.
I'm a VHS person.
You are a
Full
VHS
disclosure.
person.
But ending on a higher note.
Yeah, honestly, guys, if we can go out and just give people a little grace and not hate on things. Like, sometimes we like to say we're going to watch something, but we're not really hating on things. We're going to point out things we see as issues, but, like, I'm not out here about to, like, email a director of something and say, you're the worst thing that's ever come to this earth.
Yeah.
Listen, this is how I would sum this up. I would say, if you were interested in watching it, watch it.
Yeah.
It's totally worth it. If this was not on your radar at all, you're fine missing it. You didn't miss out on any sort of cinematic, experience that's so groundbreaking, your life won't move forward without it.
Yeah, so in summation, we like to go around the table, as we say. Oh, no, I'm not sorry.
We'll wait for
Start that over.
little Tula's nails.
Tula, quit moving!
We have a house full of animals right
she's
now.
sitting down on the mat. What a good dog.
We have
Everybody knows
Eric.
it's TT time.
Erica's
Okay.
Tula. We've got Bridget's Bailey. Kira has Professor the cat, and oh my God,
Prue.
Prue the dog. So we have a house full of animals who have been behaving quite well during this recording.
If you hear some clicking in the background, it's just my dog walking around.
It's okay. As you were.
So in summation, we like to go around the table and vote yes or no. Did we need this remake? Did we need this sequel? Mm-hmm. And Bridget would like to go first.
Yeah. So I'm actually glad I finally saw this and got to make my own opinion on it. I think the singing was pretty good, especially Rachel. I thought she did a great job. I kind of want to go and see the West Side Story thing that they did more recently because she was in that. And considering all the plot points we discussed and where they could have done better, we did not need to make this movie. I feel like we could have made a better version of this movie and it would have done better, but that's just my feeling. I don't think this needs to have happened.
Kira, would you like to go?
Listen, I don't feel like I would have lost sleep by not seeing this movie by any means. So if that's the bar we're holding it to, then no, it didn't need to be made. But yes, I think it did need to be made in the fact that I think it updates a lot from the original and gives a lot more female empowerment to current young girls than the first one does, that I really appreciated.
Actually, that is a very good point, and I feel the same way on those points. I don't know why I said no, but it didn't, I guess because it didn't wow me, but does everything have to wow me? Anyway, I'm being judgy.
I mean, for your own purposes, I can see how it would feel like, man, I don't feel like I need that. You already are an empowered person. You don't necessarily need to see an updated fairy tale that gives you a view of a woman being more empowered.
Yeah, wow.
But for a child growing up,
maybe that makes more of an impact.
Maybe that's really helpful. And in that way, I also vote that yes, it's at least a good step in the right direction with updating the story and giving children who are very impressionable a better view of a classic tale that features a female protagonist.
Okay, yeah.
I would still argue that Alien's a better one.
But they're not even in the same camp.
It all comes back to Alien.
It always does. So I'm going to do the socials real quick, and then I suggest that we all say goodbye like Disney princesses, starting with the podcast socials. Our Instagram is Lights Camera Remake Podcast. If you'd like to email us, send us your suggestions, send us your concerns or funny reviews, lightscameraremake@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram, Bridget LaMonica, and I also have a website, bridgetlamonica.com. Erica?
I have a website, stroutocaster.com. You can find me on Letterboxd or Instagram at Stroutocaster. That's all I can think of right now. Kira?
Yeah,
Got anything you want to plug?
I was going to say, you got something to plug? You got maybe like a business to talk about or anything like that?
I mean, coming in 2026 is Sisterhood in Spirit, a membership for women who are looking for a regular place to be able to meditate and learn how to self-heal their energy.
I love that.
Ooh.
She's been putting a lot of work into this too, so I really love it. Okay, so I suggest we all say goodbye, and I'm going to fade this out in the edit. We all say goodbye like Disney princesses. You guys ready?